Jamal al-Din al-Afghani was an international revolutionary whose presence was felt all over the Muslim world. Jamal al-Din spent his life in various different regions such as Afghanistan, India, Hijaz, Egypt, Turkey, and Europe, either by choice or after being exiled by the authorities who were afraid of him. Throughout his travels, Jamal al-Din accumulated a vast amount of knowledge, and he managed to master the Persian, Urdu, Arabic, Turkish, French, English, and Russian languages. Jamal al-Din al-Afghani was born in 1838 in the Kunar province of Afghanistan. During his youth, Jamal al-Din proved to be a sharp-minded student, and he studied Islamic studies, history, logic, philosophy, and mathematics. Jamal al-Din also traveled to India at the age of 18, where he studied modern sciences and mastered the English language. Because of his vast knowledge and sharp intellect, he was employed as an advisor to the Afghan king Dost Muhammad Khan. However, after the death of Dost Muhammad Khan, a power struggle erupted within the Afghan royal family, and eventually the British-backed Sher Ali Khan became the king of Afghanistan. Sher Ali Khan removed Jamal al-Din from his government position due to Jamal al-Din's anti-British stances. Therefore, in 1869, Jamal al-Din left Afghanistan and traveled to India, where he became an influential preacher. Jamal al-Din al-Afghani traveled across India, preaching in mosques and universities, calling on Indian Muslims and Hindus to unite against British colonialism. However, he was eventually exiled by British authorities in India. Therefore, he traveled to Egypt, where he continued preaching against British exploitation. During his time in Egypt, he was appointed as a lecturer at the Al-Azhar Islamic University, and he delivered lectures on mathematics, philosophy, and Islamic studies. Because of his prolific lectures and charismatic speeches, Jamal al-Din was also invited to Istanbul, where he was appointed as a member of the Ottoman Supreme Council of Knowledge by Sultan Abdul Aziz, and was hired to suggest changes to the Ottoman educational curriculum. Jamal al-Din eventually returned to Egypt, which was ruled by the British-backed Tawfiq Pasha, and continued teaching at the Al-Azhar University. As well as teaching, Jamal al-Din also wrote fierce articles and delivered fiery speeches against British policies in the Muslim world and the British exploitation of the Suez Canal in Egypt. His articles and speeches sparked intense anger from the British and their puppet rulers in Egypt. In one of his speeches, he stated, "There is no doubt that the factor of political tyranny is one of the basic factors that overthrew the Islamic world and prevented its progress and prosperity, as we see rulers and kings either tyrannical or weak, unable to take care of the interests of their people in the face of internal ambitions and external colonialism. The princes of the East surrendered their affairs and entrusted their duties of writing, administration, and protection to foreigners. They increased their loyalty to strangers and their trust in them to the point that they entrusted them with their own homes and almost surrendered their kingdoms. As a result of his open hostility to the British, Jamal al-Din was expelled from Egypt in 1879 by the British-backed Egyptian monarchy. After being kicked out of Egypt, Jamal al-Din took refuge in France. During this period, he published the newspaper known as al-Urwat al-Wuthqa. Through this newspaper, he called on Islamic nations to unite, reform, and fight against European domination. This newspaper was published in Europe and distributed across the Muslim world. However, the newspaper soon stopped publishing after it was banned by British authorities in Egypt, Sudan, and India. In 1888, during his visit to England, Jamaluddin met Lord Randolph Churchill, who offered Jamaluddin a job as an advisor to the Viceroy of India. However, Jamaluddin rejected the offer and refused to work for the British. During his time in Europe, Jamaluddin also met the Persian king Nasruddin Shah, who invited him to Iran and appointed him as his personal advisor. Therefore, Jamaluddin traveled to Iran and began working under the Shah. However, tensions soon arose between Jamaluddin and the Persian royal family, as Jamaluddin became a supporter of the Iranian constitutional movement, which was against the absolute rule and corruption of the monarchy that was becoming increasingly subservient to Britain and Russia. Therefore, Jamaluddin was expelled from Iran in 1890 and took refuge in the Ottoman Empire. During his time in the Ottoman Empire, Jamaluddin al-Afghani coordinated with his loyal followers in Iran and arranged the assassination of Nasruddin Shah. Nasruddin Shah was shot to death by Mirza Reza Kermani, who was a supporter of Jamaluddin. During his time in Istanbul, Sultan Abdul Hamid II offered Jamaluddin the rank of military judge, but Jamaluddin refused and told the Sultan's messenger, "Tell the Sultan that Jamaluddin believes that the rank of knowledge is the highest." Eventually, Jamaluddin also began openly criticizing the despotism of the Ottoman government. Therefore, the Sultan placed Jamaluddin under house arrest after he suspected Jamaluddin of assassinating him, just like he assassinated the Shah of Iran. Jamaluddin al-Afghani passed away in 1879, leaving behind a wealth of literature.